Welcome to Scaling with People, your weekly playbook for turning chaos into compounding growth. Each week, we go under the hood with battle-tested experts in all areas of business, from marketing to sales, operation, finance, and people, plus product and leadership, to unpack the plays, numbers, and systems that turn chaos into compounding growth. Learn straight from founders and experts who've done it and continue to do it successfully. There's zero fluff, just moves that you can steal immediately. This podcast is brought to you by Guide to HR, human expertise, AI-powered impact. Welcome, everyone, to today's Scaling with People podcast. I'm Guinevere Curry, your host and founder and CEO to Guide to HR. All right, on today's Scaling with People, we're ditching the hustle, hangover, and learning how to reclaim your radiance, lead with unapologetic confidence, and turn personal struggle into unstoppable impact. From battling burnout to building a brand that blazes, Nelly knows what it means to rewrite your own roles. As a first-gen woman, she's turned grit into growth, healed confidence and hormones, and built a business that scales without selling your soul. Welcome, Nelly. I'm super excited to have you on the show today. Tell the audience a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Guinevere. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here. We were just chatting before, and you have so many wonderful guests before in the podcast. So I'm very honored to be here. My name is Nelly, like you said, and I am originally from Cuba. I came to the US when I was 21 years old. So my birthday is on Monday. So I'm hitting the 40s.
Nice. Welcome to the 40s.
Thank you. And yeah, came to the US when I was 21. I lived a little bit in South Beach, moved to New York City for 12 years. I had a med spa over there as well. But in that case, I was kind of like behind the scenes in terms I was not the one providing the procedures and the treatments, etc. So that's when I went to school, became a PA, and moved to Florida a couple of years afterwards. And I've been here ever since, I think 6 years right now. I'm loving it. I love the warmth. It reminds me of an island. And worked for a med spa for 2 years. And after that, founded my own medical spa for the last 2.5 to 3 years. So that's a little bit of my story.
So small business owner.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, cool. All right, so you've gone from first-gen struggles to building a scalable brand. What was the moment you realized your personal story became your business superpower? And if you don't mind, I'll put you on the hot spot. And could you share a lesson learned with our audience?
Absolutely. When I realized that my personal struggle was a superpower is when I started to share that with my clients. I started to share where I came from, why I do what I do, my purpose in my industry. My clients and my patients started to really connect with me, started to understand and trust me. We started to build personal relationships that translated into more business, into more referrals, because now these ladies were coming in and realizing that I was just not trying to, sell them something. I was trying to connect with them and really be honest and understand where they were coming from as they were understanding where I was coming from. So personal relationship, personal connection is the lesson in any business, in any service business. You have to connect with the person that you have in front of you. So that will be my lesson for all of the service providers out there. A lot of, oftentimes I hear my patients telling me, well, I didn't really go back to that other med spa because I felt like I was a number. I felt like I was invisible. I felt like they were not really listening to me. They were not trying to connect with me. They were not hearing my concerns. They were just trying to push their agenda, build a treatment plan, and just kind of, railroad me. And when I come to you, it's very different. You actually sit, you listen to me, you don't overpower the conversation, you are present. So that's my superpower and my lesson.
I love that. Yeah. When you're in a services organization, you definitely need to be having that personal touch and the relationship building. And I just had a couple podcasts ago, a gentleman who talked about building fundraising off of those people, customer investor. So custom investor, I think is what he put to it. So that goes hand in hand to what you're saying as well. And so I queued up talking about burnout, and I'm a little triggered myself. I think a lot of corporate people are, working in the office and whatnot, and all the things that we have to do more with less, have to do more with
Yeah.
nothing. And so burnout is definitely is definitely a real thing. But unfortunately, it's also practically a badge of honor for founders and even for people who work for startups
Yeah.
until it breaks you. So what did hitting your burnout wall teach you, if you did hit one, and about leading in a way that actually fuels you instead of kills you?
You are, I mean, right on the dot. And I am in the place right now where I'm healing from the burnout.
Mm,
And like you said, so I come from nothing. I come from the third world country, a communist country where we just survive. We're not there to thrive, we survive. So
mm,
I came to the US with the same mentality of like, I gotta make it, I gotta make it, I gotta make it because I have a very large family that I have to take care of in my country. And I really have to make my bills. I have to work the hours. And whenever I felt like I was not doing enough, I felt guilty. I felt like I was not living up to my own expectation and standards, and my cortisol levels will go up, will go up. I will wake up with anxiety, really bad anxiety in the morning, wake up at 3 a.m. with jolt, you know, oh my God,
mhm,
these things need to get done. And it was translating into my team. So I was leading from a place of fear. I was leading from a place of lack, of, let's just try to get the most sales today because we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I was not
mhm,
understanding the ebbs and flows of the business. And that led me to really having panic attacks in the best way possible, not the ones that land you in the hospital, but the ones that land you like crying at night and crying in the morning coming to work. And I knew for a fact that that had to stop because that is not the life that I was meant to be living. And today, that's my job. I help women exactly do that. Go from, burnout to a breeze. So in a way, my healing started understanding that just because I was pushing so much, it didn't mean that I was going to be more successful in business and definitely not very successful in my personal life. I was alienating relationships, not working on relationships, and I was feeding relationships that were not good for me, friendships,
yeah,
etc., that were not really aligned with who I am. It became everything very transactional, and that's something that I wanted to step away from. So in my healing process, I started to go and delve a little deeper into why am I doing what I do, my purpose, very concentrated on my purpose. I'm building a spiritual, foundation where I have to have faith and trust in the future, in the universe, and obviously trust in God. And that has helped me tremendously. I work with a spiritual director and this man is a light in my life. I always recommend him because it has made a huge impact in how I'm leading, how I'm presenting myself. I'm working on, you know, um, being more feminine in my energy. You know that as females entrepreneurs and females in the corporate world, it is hard for us to be on that feminine energy all the time, or
yep,
even sometimes because you have to, if you are in some sort of leadership position, you got to act sometimes from that a personality, from that power, from that, femme fatale.
yeah.
So I have learned that I need to steer away from it and then concentrate more on nurturing that softness, that, spirituality, etc. So that's exactly where I am today.
I love that. Well, thank you so much. That was very personal, and I appreciate you being so open and candid and honest. So,
Yeah.
thinking about, some of the things that you offer in your services, obviously listeners are not necessarily local to you. Are there any like advice or steps that someone could take, one or two steps to help start kind of unwinding that burnout and start to get to a place where they're getting fulfilled?
Yeah. One of the things that really helped me was to understand and to have a main question for me was like, why am I doing what I do?
Hmm.
It could be for who, it could be what's the purpose of, you know, how do I spend my hours? How do I spend my time? On what level, which emotional level or which emotion dominates my day? If it's an emotion of anxiety, if it's an emotion of stress, if it's an emotion of fear, that's where you really have to say, hey, let's stop for a second and let's figure out where. And then from there, you got to find the resources. So if it's talking to a counselor, if it's talking to a spiritual director, if it's talking to your, functional medicine physician to figure out, how can you be optimized. But the basis is you have to start digging a little deeper. I do that with a notebook, and I ask
Mm.
myself the seven whys. Why am I here? And then go deeper into, okay, why is this important? And then go deeper into why this means to me. And you go deep, 7 layers. And when you do find that, it is kind of like you're like relaxed, because now you know what direction is it that you have to take. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's the same direction that you're doing. And some other times you're going to find out that you have to step away from what you're doing. And it's okay. It's just like you have evolved, you're aligned. You're more aligned once you discover how you want to spend your hours of your day at work, those hours that are there to build your future and your legacy, how you want to spend them. If you want to spend them burned out and doing something you hate, or you want to spend it doing something you love and get paid for it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah, I'd actually, and I would add in exactly that. And another question is, what is it that you love? What gets you up in the morning and excited to get out of bed? You
Mhm.
know, a lot of us are not necessarily like, oh, I'm so excited to go to work today and
Mhm.
clock in, or whatever the situation is. But I'm excited to work on this project. I'm excited to work with these people. I'm excited to move this goal forward down, the football field so I can actually have this company do XYZ, which is why I'm built it, right? So I think knowing what you enjoy doing is another key thing too. And
Yeah.
I've had my kind of aha moment too, and I realized, why am I pushing to go these extremes when that's not really what I'm good at, and I don't enjoy it. Let's just be honest, like I really don't enjoy it. So like, let me focus on the things I do enjoy, and that fills your bucket up just by working on the and I unfortunately catch myself working until 8 or 9 o'clock at night, but not because I have to. It's because I'm having so much fun and
Correct.
enjoying what I'm doing that it doesn't feel like work. Until my
Correct.
husband's like, "Hey, are you going to get off and come hang out with me?" I'm like, "Oh, right. Got to do that too."
Yeah. So, exactly that. Sometimes doing what you're aligned with it's not work.
Yeah.
And you know what? Sometimes you're not going to discover your passion right away, but continue to have curiosity for things. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, it is a journey. It is not a destination. It's like, okay, this feels good. Let's talk a little bit more about that. This feels good. Check with your gut. You have instinct. Check with your gut. Whenever you're working on a project, whenever you are working on something that, can become something else, are you interested in that? And then take steps further to make it profitable for yourself. Um, I have a lot of clients that they've been laid off, recently,
Yeah.
and they're like, you know what, I'm kind of good because now I can actually work on my passion. And I'm like, why
Yeah.
do you have to wait years, 10, 15 years on a job that doesn't feed your soul just
Yeah.
because you have health insurance and just because you have paid time off? It's not feeding you, it's not filling your bucket.
Well, and a
And
lot of times it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, you have benefits and pay time off, but because you're working so much for somebody else, you
Mhm.
actually are not got that good work-life balance. You don't have, and you probably could actually be making more money into your bank
Mhm.
account that covers those things and then some if you're doing what you're passionate about and not
Absolutely.
just coming in and clocking in and clocking out and the quiet quitters out there and all the
Mhm.
other the low performers, the low
Mhm.
engagement. I think those are the people who've like, if they're listening for some reason then to this podcast, like think about what you want out of life, because at the end of the day, I always say we only have so many circles around the sun,
Yeah,
and it's not that company that's going to be at your funeral and your gravesite mourning that you're gone. So
exactly.
think about that for a minute. So let's kind of shift a little bit. We're kind of queued up, confidence and hormone connections. Can you talk to me about healing, confidence, and hormones in the same conversation? Like, why do you believe those two are so connected for women in leadership?
They're connected because when we lead from burnout, we're leading from, in the beginning, very high levels of cortisol, which is what keeps us going, 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 going. And then when we crush because our body cannot make the same amount of epinephrine, norepinephrine, cortisol, serotonin, dopamine, all of that wonderful concoction of hormones, our body cannot keep up with the demand, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're eating at random times of the day, if you're nourishing yourself with things that are not really healthy, if you're drinking, a lot of people socialize daily. They have 3, 4, 5 glasses of wine or cocktails daily, right? So all of that will end up in you being depleted.
Yeah.
So turning the clock, I always start with lifestyle, but sometimes the lifestyle of somebody is the lifestyle. We can change it a whole lot. Then we have to come and try to chemically balance and add on things that will help you feel better, sleep better, have more energy, better mood, better libido, better sex drive. And those are the things that I do in my practice. I know that my clients cannot potentially slow down because they need the stamina. So how can I improve their stamina with supplementation, with hormone replacement, with lifestyle habits that are conducive to releasing some of that burnout? And then we have blood work, we have urine analysis that will define the path for us. They will tell us exactly, hey, this is what's happening. You have an issue with low testosterone, high cortisol or low cortisol, low testosterone, low estrogen. Let's do a little compounding of creams or injectables, and let's try to get you up and running.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, what is one mind shift that took you from surviving, maybe, pre-burnout into like actually causing you to get into burnout, as a first gen woman leader to actually scaling and thriving in your brand right now?
So understanding that I cannot do everything by myself and the team around me is crucial. So I know that we are in an HR podcast, and I was just doing one of the reviews with my manager today. It's her first year anniversary with us. And I couldn't do what I do, and I couldn't have gone from burnout to now relaxed as a reset without the help, without her help. So the team around you is crucial to maintaining your sanity. If
Yes.
you cannot trust the people around you, you have nothing. You have no business. You have no corporation. You don't have, there's no support. So for me, it was, oh, I hired somebody that I can actually trust with my business that is going to do the task that I ask her to do. I can delegate and she can think for herself. Wow.
Nice.
Now I can say I have a business and I'm not self-employed. Because at
Yeah,
the end of the day, if you have to be in your business 24 hours, you're self-employed. You're not
exactly.
really a business owner. The
Yeah.
business is you. It's just,
Yeah.
you're basically
So,
an employee
so
of
true.
yourself, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So finding that team of people that can support you and that you can trust and you can delegate, it is imperative when it comes to healing burnout.
Yeah, I think that's so key. I mean, even if we have listeners who are more on the corporate side, like your team, building your leader, if you are a founder, getting the right leaders with you that you can trust, and then really be able to let them like solve those problems. You trust them, they're adult, they're actually engaged and give you that space and breathing room to focus on, again, going back to what you enjoy. There's no founder out there I have met that can do it all. In fact,
Hmm.
there's no person that can do it all.
Hmm.
Some of us
Hmm.
think we can
Yeah.
or want to,
We
but the
think.
reality is nobody can. And so going back to what you thrive in, where you get fueled and what you enjoy doing, do that. And then let the people around you take care of the rest of the business. If you're not a numbers person, don't try to be the finance CFO, right?
Correct. Exactly.
If you don't
Higher.
know how to code, go get a tech person and help you build whatever it is that you're wanting to build. And I
Yeah.
think that's such key. I've seen so many founders who continue to try to do it all and they just they muck it up, then and it impacts not only their own health, the health of the business, the health of the people that are working for you, and
Mhm.
can actually have a negative impact on the timing of your success of your business.
Absolutely. I wish I would have known a lot of the lessons that I know today a year ago, you
Oh,
know?
don't we all?
Yeah. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'm somebody that if I can pay for it, I will delegate it
Yeah.
because I know my limitations. I know exactly where I excel and I know where I don't excel.
Yeah.
And the faster you get to know that, the faster you can get to your promised land because then
Yeah.
things happen at the same time and everything comes together and then you can scale. So for
Yeah.
example, marketing, a lot of people out there and like they're bootstrapping their business. It's like, well,
Yes.
I'm going to do the marketing myself and I'm going to learn how to code and I'm going to learn how to, service the customer and the fulfillment and all that stuff. And I'm going to be my own CPA. I'm going to be my own tax person. Yes, that's going to be good for a year, but that's it.
Yeah.
You will never grow with that
Yeah,
mentality.
exactly. I think it is good to have a baseline understanding of every aspect of your business so you can actually talk from a knowledgeable perspective and also know when to ask questions, when to say, that doesn't seem right. Let me dive into it a little bit, right? Not be completely blind,
Yeah.
but at the same time, you're not the subject matter expert on everything.
Yeah, exactly. Concentrate and build on the skills that you have. Make yourself an expert on what you do, and then delegate everything else.
Yeah,
As long as
exactly.
obviously you have the funds, and for the funds, as long as you have a solid business plan, anybody will invest in you. You need to have a solid business plan and a solid, business or service,
Yeah.
and people will invest because we're all looking where to put our money at the end of the day. You don't
And
want to
how
have
where are we going to get the ROI on that money?
exactly.
Yeah. Well, as we wrap up on today's podcast, Nelly, is there any last final thoughts or tricks or tips or tools you'd like to give the audience?
Yes, so I would love to invite all of your listeners to schedule a 30 to 45-minute consultation with me, especially the ladies who are out there burned out and are trying to heal the triggers, heal the trauma, heal the burnout, and go from super stressed to a high achieving CEO that, is commanding and leading from her heart. So that consultation normally, I charge for, but for you guys, can do it complimentary.
Well, we
Just
love freebies.
I know, right?
And we'll
Just
put the link in the
mention
details below.
Perfect. Just
Yeah.
mention your podcast, and you can follow me on at Nelly T Johansson with two S's on Instagram or live underscore vibrant underscore med spa. Those are my two
Okay.
Instagram handles.
Great. Awesome. Well, thank you, Nelly. We appreciate your time. And for the audience, I hope you had a moment to maybe even just use this to decompress a little,
Yeah.
rethink about how you want to use your energy, how you want to fill up again and not be completely empty on the tank. And we'll see you on the next podcast. Thanks, everyone, for joining us.
Thank you.
That's a wrap for today's episode of Scaling with People. If you got value from this conversation, do me a favor, share it with someone building something big. And hey, I'd love to hear your take. Drop a comment, shoot me a message, or start a conversation. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss the bold, unfiltered strategies we drop every week. I'm Guinevere Query, founder and CEO of Guide to HR, where we help high-growth companies scale smart with people-first strategies and AI-powered systems that don't just keep up, they lead. If you're building fast and want your HR to move faster, head to guidetohr.com and let's talk. And remember, scale isn't just about speed, it's about people. Until next time, have a great one.